Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. We are looking at a problem that has to do with rates, ratios, proportions, and finding information based on that. So this is a problem from CPM, and this is course 3, and this is section 4.1.6, specifically number 4-63. So I'll read it and we'll go through it. So Ms. B is making snickerdoodle cookies. Her recipe uses 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon to make 2 dozen cookies. If she needs to make 13 dozen cookies to give 1 cookie to each of her students, how much cinnamon will she need? So there are 3 teaspoons and 1 tablespoon. So that's important to know. So we're going to kind of make sure we remember that. 3 teaspoons and 1 tablespoon. How many tablespoons and teaspoons will Miss B need? So let's start with one at a time here. So the first thing I'm going to do is write my rate, my ratio, right? We can write rates as fractions, and those rates as fractions are ratios, right? Rates as fractions are the same thing as ratios. So I'm going to write a ratio, and my ratio I'm going to write is from this statement here, the given information, 1.5. So I'm going to use decimals in this case, just so that way I can do some manipulation with the numbers. So 1.5, so 1.5, and it's teaspoons, TSP, of cinnamon. So I won't write that, but over 2 dozen, okay, cookies. So 2 dozen, and I'll just do that, cookies. So that's my rate. That's my ratio. So it says she needs to make 13 dozen cookies. So what I need to do is I need to come up with a way to get this to equal 13 on the bottom, 13 dozen, and then that'll tell me how many teaspoons I need. So my math is, what do I do to the 2 to make it a 13? Right? So when you're given a fraction, you need to just basically multiply by a giant 1. You multiply the bottom and the top by the same thing, and that'll give you equivalent fractions, right? So 2 times what is 13? Well, this is where, if you're not sure, of course, you can go reverse and figure out what is 13 divided by 2. 13 divided by 2 is going to be the 2 times the what, right? 13 divided by 2 is equal to 6.5. So it's going to be 6.5 times 2 is 13. So if I multiply both top and bottom by 6.5, then I have now equivalent fractions. So I just got to figure out what is 1.5 times 6.5, right? So 1.5 times 6.5, of course, if you had to, you can do it on the side and do your multiplication and figure that out. Or if you've got a calculator in this case, that would be a legit thing to be able to use for this problem specifically. So 1.5 times 6.5 is equal to 9.75. 9.75. Okay. So that's what I have for teaspoons. Okay. So I need, for 13 dozen, I need 9.5. So let's see. Is that one of my questions? There are 3 teaspoons in one. Okay. How much cinnamon she needs? So we're going to need 9.75 teaspoons for 13 dozen. Okay. That's one answer. Then it says, how many tablespoons and teaspoons will Ms. B need? Well, we know how many teaspoons. I just figured that out. So to find how many tablespoons, it says there are 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon. So if that's the case, if there's 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon, I'm going to basically take my number here, my 9.75, and I'm going to take 9.75 and divide it by 3 to figure out how many tablespoons. And tablespoons are TBSP, tablespoons. So when I do that division there, I get 3.25. So there's 3.25 tablespoons and 9.75 teaspoons. Okay. All right, there we go.